Better Call Saul was created by Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould. Stars Bob Odenkirk, Rhea Seehorn, Jonathan Banks, many others of the cast of Breaking Bad returning to reprise some of their roles, and tells the story of Jimmy McGill as he goes from regular good old lawyer and transforms into the criminal lawyer that we know as Saul Goodman. The show Better Call Saul is incredible. I enjoyed my experience with it, but was it any good? Let's find out in this review. So, Better Call Saul was released back in 2015. It had a run all the way to a month ago in 2022 with season 6 finally coming to a close with the final episode, Saul Gone. And I got a chance to watch the entire last 2 seasons live on the air. And boy, what an adventure it was. I love Better Call Saul. From start to finish, it blew me away. Now, a little bit of some pretense here. I love Breaking Bad. It is potentially my favorite show of all time, if not my favorite. It is an incredible show from start to finish. It's incredible writing, cinematography, characters, all of it. It's all incredible. And so I was obviously excited going into Better Call Saul. What I didn't realize is how different Better Call Saul was to Breaking Bad. As a whole, Better Call Saul is slower, and it takes longer to pick up as Saul slowly becomes Saul Goodman. And becomes the criminal lawyer that we all know and love, the wisecracking jokester. And it's a little slower, but it picks up, which is something that's great and that I loved about this show and something I didn't really expect going into it. But yeah, enough about just some pretense. Let's get into this. Let's start with my opinions. Bob Odenkirk is Saul Goodman. My God, what a performance. Going back to when I first heard that this was a show, I actually sat there and went, really? So you have Mike Ehrmantraut, you could have made the lead. You have Jesse, you could have made the lead of his own show. You have even Hank, a prequel Hank show would have been really good. You chose the comedy wisecracking character of Saul Goodman from Breaking Bad to help continue the story. Which was weird, because in Breaking Bad, Saul is there. He doesn't have any emotional or character development. He's purely there for jokes and comedy, and which is fine. I still love Saul's character. He's still in my top 10 of favorite characters. I love Saul Goodman. But I personally did not think he warranted his own show. And so I was very pleased and happy when they actually elevated the source material of Breaking Bad by giving Saul this character development. And in a lot of ways, I think I like Saul's character more than I do Walter in Breaking Bad. There's a lot I love about Better Call Saul versus Breaking Bad. For starters, the writing, incredible. It's not far off from Breaking Bad, but part of me just thinks that's a little better than Breaking Bad. And those lawyer scenes, when they're in the courtroom and Jimmy's just spouting off words and he's trying to win the case. I mean, it's impressive what they can do with just a courtroom and a monologue. It's a testament to Vince Gilligan's writing skills and even Peter Gould's writing skills. It's really, really entertaining. But Bob Odenkirk does a great job delivering these lines. He plays Jimmy McGill / Saul Goodman expertly, and I enjoyed his transformation from Jimmy all the way to Saul Goodman. We're going to get into some spoilers pretty soon here later in the video, but we'll stay on topic now. Rhea Seehorn as Kim Wexler, without giving away too much about her character, is an excellent opposite to Jimmy. They have a great relationship, a better relationship, honestly, than I think Skyler and Walt had, even though it's a very different type of relationship. It's still a better relationship, and I actually believe that relationship more than I think I did Walt and Skyler, which was incredible. I loved it. Jonathan Banks returning as one of my favorite characters from Breaking Bad, Mike Ehrmantraut, the bad butt kicking. I mean, Mike is just awesome. He was an incredible character from Breaking Bad, so obviously I was excited to see his backstory, how he gets to be with Gus, how he gets in with that crowd. And so it's exciting whenever he shows up for the first time and you see him. And I actually remember cracking a smile when I saw him for the first time in that toll booth, trying to scan Jimmy's ticket to let him through the gate. It was awesome. And Jonathan Banks, I think, does some of his best work in this show. If not, it is his best work. He might have even done better here than he did Breaking Bad. Another returning character is Giancarlo Esposito as Gus. That was an exciting welcome. There's not too much new about him. I mean, there is, and you learn some things. But Gus is Gus, and he's always been Gus. It's kind of hard to flesh out his character any more than it really already is, unless you want to go back even further, which Breaking Bad kind of did. And there were some scenes in this show where it did too. But Gus is Gus. You know pretty much all about him. It's pretty much how Mike ends up with Gus and how he becomes basically Gus's right-hand man. But that's all Gus does in the show. He's threatening. He's the same old guy we once knew, and we love it. And then staying on positives, I know I already mentioned the script earlier. It's phenomenal, but we're going to talk about cinematography. Wow, there are some shots in this show that honestly make me just stand there in awe that this is even television. You look back to The Sopranos in 1999 and how much that accomplished, how that laid the building blocks for a show like this. And Better Call Saul elevates, and it really does. It makes the watcher in awe. It leaves you with your mouth and jaw dropped open. It's incredible. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I can say about that. Negatives? Nothing. I cannot say anything bad about this show. It is another knockout show. I mean, Vince Gilligan did so well with it. Peter Gould did so well with it. The cast was so good. It was lightning. It's a rarity that a director can come off of something and make something that is equal to or even better than the first project, especially with TV. That's impressive. It's funny because Breaking Bad is a masterpiece. I never would have thought that Better Call Saul would have been a masterpiece. Even though it was made by the same people, I never thought it could have been a masterpiece just like Breaking Bad. I mean, it's going back to the Sopranos thing. Could you imagine that watching the Sopranos, have that be a masterpiece, and then following a show about Artie, and then having Artie be the next main character? It just probably wouldn't work. And I don't know what it is about Vince Gilligan and what he's so well at doing, but I'm excited for this next show that he's doing with Rhea Seehorn, because if he can do 2 banger shows and make them masterpieces, I think he's pretty well capable of doing anything at this point. It's incredible. And I'm very happy with how Better Call Saul ended. I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad. It's my favorite show of all time, and so Better Call Saul ending perfectly was just what I needed. And I was excited by it. We're going to get into some spoilers now. Some things that I really want to say that just wrapped up nicely, and some things that happened that gave me some delight. We'll start off with the death of Lalo Salamanca and Howard Hamlin. I think that Better Call Saul handled that expertly, especially with Howard's death. He was the cliffhanger of season 6A, with Lalo shooting him in the head and falling on the floor in Jimmy and Kim's apartment. And the way they used Howard to bring Lalo back into the story in a way was really well done. And Lalo's death, being killed by Gus, that was a very action-heavy scene. And I mean, I thought that we all knew he would probably have to die because Gus had to live. But I was still on the edge of my seat. Like, that's how good it is. Moving on to future episodes, you have the story of that leads Walt and Jesse back into the mix. That was very exciting to see them, especially in the episode titled Breaking Bad. I mean, come on. We all knew they were going to appear in that episode. There was no way that they were not going to appear in an episode called Breaking Bad. But I was very excited to see them return. They do a phenomenal job in those roles. They're still my favorite characters throughout the entirety of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul's universe. So they were a great addition to the show. And what's interesting about their scene, and what I figured would probably have to happen if they were to return, is it's not anything new about Walt and Jesse, but it's showing how they affected Saul's life, which is an interesting thing. But I absolutely loved that. It was really, really nice. And then they return the next episodes after. Saul gone, Walt comes back. The predecessor episode, Jesse comes back and has a conversation with Kim. The two sidekicks of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul have a conversation, which that surprised me. That was really good. They shared a smoke. Called it a day. And then this is not really spoilery. It's in the first episode. It's literally the first scene of the first episode. But I love the use of black and white in the show to contrast future versus past. And it really does show how when Jimmy's in Omaha, his life is very stark and it's gray. It's pretty much dead. It's nothing like what he was when he was Saul. And when it's in color, it shows how he was alive. And that's why whenever he does end up going to prison, it doesn't go back to color, which I actually think was a big missed opportunity. Not bad by any means, but a big missed opportunity. When he does go back to prison at the end of the show, when Jimmy ends up in jail, and he's praised for being Saul Goodman, and he's this celebrity in prison, it's exciting for him. Even though he knows without Kim, his life is still stark and still gray. And actually, so I guess I just figured it out. I guess that's kind of why it's still black and white, is that even though he's treated like this celebrity, he's going to be okay. Kim is not with him, so his life is stark and gray. But it's still exciting. And I loved how it ended up. I loved that Kim kind of forgave Jimmy. I love how Jimmy just owned up to his actions, while at the same time being like, hey, this Walter White guy, like, yeah, he did all these bad things, but he would have been in jail within 2 weeks if it wasn't for me. Saul basically admitted to saying he couldn't have done any of it without me. The meth empire, finding Gus, all of it. And it was a very nice ending as a whole, wrapping it all together, putting a bow tie on it. Better Call Saul is definitely the love letter to Breaking Bad, and it expanded upon that. It became a masterpiece, and it's genius. I love it so much, and I can't wait to rewatch it again either. But, I mean, with all that said, that's Better Call Saul. Great script, great characters, masterpiece. Vince Gilligan, Peter Gould, you should be proud of your work. I can't wait to see what you do next, Vince Gilligan, with Rhea Seehorn. I hope it's going to be great. But, guys, that's it. Better Call Saul. I love the show. Go give it a watch if you haven't seen it. On a scale, I'm definitely giving it a 10 out of 10. I mean, there no doubt in my mind would it ever be anything different. Actually, no, 11 out of 10. We're going to go even one step further. It's that good. But that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for watching this video. That was Better Call Saul. My name is Carson Crichton, also known as Typical Moviegoer. And here's me saying, peace out.